Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and discovering that everything you call yourself has vanished. Your name, your memories, your achievements, your failures, your ambitions, your fears, everything. Would you still exist? Most people would say no. Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj would say yes. In fact, he would say that what disappeared was never the real you to begin with. This may be one of the most shocking spiritual teachings ever spoken. Because according to Maharaj, the greatest obstacle to truth is not ignorance. It is your belief that you are a person. Not because the person is evil. Not because the person is wrong. But because the person is only a temporary appearance in consciousness. A character in a dream. A wave in an infinite ocean. And until this is understood, suffering continues. We spend our entire lives trying to improve an illusion. Protect an illusion. Defend an illusion. And become an illusion. Tonight, we are going to explore one of Nisargadatta Maharaj's deepest and most radical teachings. A teaching that points beyond the mind. Beyond the ego. Beyond the feeling of I. And perhaps, beyond everything you currently believe yourself to be. So before we begin, I invite you to put aside everything you think you know. Listen carefully. Because what you are about to hear may completely change the way you understand yourself and reality itself. Part 1, The Great Search and the Illusion of the Person. What if everything you believe about yourself is wrong? Not partially wrong. Completely wrong. What if your name is not who you are? What if your memories are not who you are? What if your achievements, failures, fears, desires, and ambitions are not who you are? And what if the person you have spent your entire life trying to improve does not actually exist in the way you think it does? Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj spent decades pointing seekers toward a truth so simple that most people overlook it. A truth that has nothing to do with religion. Nothing to do with philosophy. Nothing to do with belief. A truth that can only be discovered through direct observation. According to Maharaj, the greatest misunderstanding in human life is the belief that we are a separate person. From the moment we are born, we are given a name. People tell us who we are. They tell us what we should become. They tell us what success looks like. They tell us what failure looks like. Slowly, we begin to construct an identity. A personality emerges. A story forms. The story says, "This is me. This is my life. These are my experiences. These are my dreams. These are my problems." And before long, we become completely identified with this story. But Maharaj asks a simple question. Who is aware of the story? Take a moment and consider it. Thoughts are appearing right now. Memories may be appearing. Emotions may be appearing. Sensations are appearing. Sounds are appearing. But something is aware of all of them. What is that? Most people never investigate this question. Instead, they remain fascinated by the contents of consciousness. They focus on thoughts. They focus on emotions. They focus on circumstances. Yet they rarely turn their attention toward the awareness in which all these things appear. Imagine sitting in a movie theater. You become absorbed in the story. You laugh. You cry. You become frightened. You become excited. For 2 hours, the movie feels real. Yet throughout the entire experience, one thing remains unchanged. The screen. Without the screen, no movie could appear. Yet most people pay attention only to the movie. Not the screen. According to Nisargadatta Maharaj, this is exactly how we live. We become fascinated by the movie of life. The events. The relationships. The successes. The failures. The pleasures. The pains. And we completely overlook the awareness in which all these experiences appear. This awareness is what Maharaj wants us to discover. Not as a theory. Not as a belief. But as a living reality. Think back to your childhood. The body you had then is gone. The thoughts you had then are gone. The emotions you had then are gone. Your opinions have changed. Your interests have changed. Your circumstances have changed. Almost everything has changed. And yet there is still a sense that you are the same being. What exactly has remained? It cannot be the body. The body changes constantly. It cannot be the mind. The mind changes constantly. It cannot be memory. Memory is incomplete and often inaccurate. Something deeper remains. Something more fundamental. Something that existed before every experience. Maharaj points directly to this. He says that our true nature is not the personality. The personality is only a collection of habits, memories, beliefs, and conditioning. Useful for functioning in the world. But not what we truly are. Think of a wave in the ocean. The wave appears separate. It has its own shape. Its own movement. Its own identity. Yet what is it made of? Water. The wave depends on the ocean. The ocean does not depend on the wave. Likewise, the personality depends upon consciousness. Consciousness does not depend upon personality. Without consciousness, there can be no experience of being a person. Without awareness, there can be no identity. The person appears within awareness. Awareness does not appear within the person. This realization marks the beginning of true spirituality. Not becoming a better person. Not becoming a more successful person. Not becoming a more spiritual person. But discovering what you are prior to the person. Maharaj often invited seekers to notice the simple feeling of existence. Before every label. Before every description. Before every identity. There is a simple feeling. The feeling that you are. Not I am this. Not I am that. Simply. I am. This sense of being is present before every thought. Before every story. Before every role. It is the first experience that appears when you wake in the morning. Before the mind remembers your name. Before it remembers your responsibilities. Before it remembers your problems. There is simply the feeling of existing. Maharaj considered this one of the most important discoveries a seeker can make. Because it exists before the personality. Before the world of concepts. Before the story of me. Yet even this is not the final truth. It is only the doorway. And in the next part, we will explore why Nisargadatta Maharaj called the feeling I am both the key to liberation and the beginning of the great illusion itself. Part 2, The Mystery of I Am and the Birth of the World. In the previous part, we explored Nisargadatta Maharaj's radical claim that we are not the personality we believe ourselves to be. We saw that thoughts change. Emotions change. The body changes. Life circumstances change. Yet something remains constant. Something silently witnesses every experience. Maharaj directs our attention toward that witnessing presence. But now we arrive at one of the deepest and most subtle parts of his teaching. The mysterious feeling. I am. Most people never notice it. They immediately move from existence to identity. From being to becoming. The moment they wake up in the morning, the mind begins its activity. I have work today. I have responsibilities. I have problems. I have goals. I need to do this. I need to achieve that. The mind instantly creates a world. But before all these thoughts appear, something else appears first. A simple knowing. A simple presence. A simple feeling that says, I exist. I am. This feeling is so familiar that we rarely pay attention to it. It has been present every day of our lives. Yet because it is always present, it often goes unnoticed. Maharaj repeatedly encouraged seekers to remain with this feeling. Not to analyze it. Not to think about it. Not to create theories about it. Simply remain with it. Observe it. Become intimate with it. Why? Because the feeling I am exists before every identity. Before you are rich or poor. Before you are successful or unsuccessful. Before you are happy or unhappy. Before you are spiritual or materialistic. There is simply the undeniable fact that you are. This pure sense of existence is the doorway to self-discovery. But Maharaj J takes us even deeper. He tells us something that surprises many seekers. The feeling I am is not the final truth. It is the beginning. The doorway. The bridge. Not the destination. Think carefully about this. The feeling I am appears every morning. And disappears every night in deep sleep. When deep sleep comes, there is no world. No identity. No problems. No ambitions. No relationships. No history. No future. Everything disappears. Then, upon waking, the feeling I am returns. And with it, the entire universe appears. Your body appears. Your thoughts appear. Your memories appear. Your worries appear. Your desires appear. Your world appears. Maharaj J asks us to notice something extraordinary. The world exists for you only when the feeling I am is present. Without it, where is the world? Where are your problems? Where is your identity? Where is your suffering? Everything depends upon this mysterious sense of existence. Without it, nothing else can be known. This is why Maharaj J often described consciousness as the source of the world. Not because consciousness creates physical objects in a literal sense. But because without consciousness, there can be no experience of anything at all. The world and the sense of I am arise together. Like two sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other. This understanding leads us to the ancient concept of Maya. The great illusion. Many people misunderstand Maya. They think it means the world is unreal. That is not what Maharaj J means. The world appears. Experiences happen. Life unfolds. But the illusion lies in our interpretation. We believe the appearances are permanent. We believe the personality is real. We believe separation is real. We believe we are independent individuals struggling in a world outside ourselves. This is the illusion. Imagine watching a dream at night. While dreaming, everything seems real. The people seem real. The events seem real. The emotions seem real. The dangers seem real. Yet upon waking, you realize the entire dream appeared within consciousness. Maharaj J suggests that our waking life is not entirely different. The world appears within consciousness. The personality appears within consciousness. Even the sense of being a separate individual appears within consciousness. This realization can feel unsettling. Because it challenges our deepest assumptions. We are accustomed to believing that consciousness exists inside the body. Maharaj J reverses this completely. He suggests that the body appears within consciousness. The person appears within consciousness. The entire known world appears within consciousness. Consciousness is primary. Everything else is secondary. Part 3, Beyond I Am and the Explosion of Bliss. Up to this point, Nisargadatta Maharaj J has guided us through a remarkable journey. First, he showed us that we are not the personality. Then he directed our attention toward the simple feeling of existence, I am. For many spiritual traditions, this would be the final destination. But Maharaj J goes further. He asks a question so profound that the mind struggles to grasp it. What exists before the feeling I am? Most seekers stop at consciousness. Maharaj J does not. He says that consciousness itself is temporary. Every morning consciousness appears. Every night in deep sleep it disappears. The sense of being someone comes and goes. The world comes and goes. If something appears and disappears, can it truly be your ultimate nature? Maharaj J says no. Your true nature must be prior to consciousness, prior to identity, and prior even to the feeling of existence itself. This is what he calls the Absolute. The Supreme Reality. The Timeless. The Unborn. The Nameless. The Eternal. The Absolute cannot be understood by the mind because the mind itself appears within consciousness. The mind can understand objects. The Absolute is not an object. The mind can understand ideas. The Absolute is beyond ideas. The mind can understand experiences. The Absolute is beyond experience. The Absolute cannot be seen because it is that by which all seeing becomes possible. Imagine the open sky. Clouds drift across it. Storms pass through it. Birds fly across it. Day becomes night. Night becomes day. Yet the sky itself remains untouched. Likewise, thoughts move through consciousness. Emotions move through consciousness. Experiences move through consciousness. Entire lifetimes move through consciousness. Yet something remains unchanged. Something remains untouched. That is your true nature. Not the changing, but the changeless. Not the temporary, but the eternal. Most of our suffering comes from identifying with what changes. We identify with the body. The body ages. We suffer. We identify with the mind. The mind becomes confused. We suffer. We identify with emotions. Emotions fluctuate. We suffer. We identify with success. Success disappears. We suffer. We identify with relationships. Relationships change. We suffer. According to Nisargadatta Maharaj, suffering is not caused by life itself. It is caused by mistaken identity. We believe ourselves to be something temporary. Then we fear its loss. The body fears death. The ego fears rejection. The mind fears uncertainty. The personality fears becoming insignificant. But awareness fears nothing. Because awareness cannot be threatened. Awareness was present before every experience. And remains after every experience. This realization begins to dissolve fear at its root. Not through positive thinking. Not through affirmations. Not through self-improvement. But through understanding. The understanding that what you truly are cannot be harmed. Cannot be diminished. Cannot be lost. As this understanding deepens, something remarkable begins to happen. The burden of being a person starts to fall away. The need to constantly defend yourself weakens. The need to prove yourself weakens. The need to become somebody weakens. Life becomes lighter. More natural. More effortless. You still work. You still love. You still create. You still participate in life. But you no longer carry the heavy weight of psychological identification. You no longer believe that your value depends upon success. Or failure. Or approval. Or achievement. You begin to live from freedom rather than fear. And this freedom brings a profound peace. Not the peace that comes from controlling circumstances. But the peace that comes from recognizing your true nature. A peace that remains even when circumstances change. A peace that remains even when life becomes difficult. A peace that remains because it does not depend on conditions. Maharaj called this Ananda. Bliss. Not excitement. Not emotional ecstasy. Not temporary happiness. But a deep and silent joy. A joy without opposite. A joy that arises naturally when separation disappears. When the illusion of being a separate self begins to dissolve. When the wave recognizes it has always been the ocean. When the seeker recognizes there was never anything to find. Only something to remember. Only something that was always here. Hidden in plain sight. Closer than the breath. Closer than thought. Closer than identity itself. And perhaps that is the greatest mystery. What we seek is not far away. It is not hidden in some distant future. It is not reserved for saints or sages. It is present here and now. As the simple fact of being aware. As the silent witness of every experience. As the timeless presence that has accompanied you throughout your entire life. And when this is seen clearly, the search begins to come to an end. Not because you have found something new, but because you have discovered what was never absent. Maharaj once described true realization in a beautiful and unforgettable way. He said that when understanding dawns completely, bliss arises like an atomic explosion. Not because something new has been acquired. Not because some extraordinary experience has been achieved. But because the illusion has collapsed. Imagine spending your entire life believing you are a small wave struggling against an endless ocean. You fight other waves. You compare yourself to other waves. You fear disappearing. You fear becoming smaller. You fear the future. You fear the inevitable moment when your wave will return to the sea. Then one day, something extraordinary happens. You realize you were never merely the wave. You were the ocean all along. Suddenly everything changes. The fear of disappearance loses its power. The fear of death loses its power. The fear of failure loses its power. Because the ocean cannot disappear. The ocean cannot fail. The ocean cannot die. Only the temporary form changes. The essence remains. This is the heart of Maharaj's teaching. The body changes. The mind changes. Emotions change. Circumstances change. Relationships change. Entire worlds appear and disappear. Yet your true nature remains untouched. Silent. Infinite. Timeless. Complete. Maharaj often reminded seekers that consciousness itself appeared spontaneously. You did not create it. You did not earn it. You did not manufacture it. The feeling I am simply appeared one day. And through that tiny feeling of existence, an entire universe emerged. Mountains appeared. Oceans appeared. Stars appeared. Trees appeared. People appeared. Thoughts appeared. Memories appeared. Desires appeared. Fears appeared. The whole drama of life appeared. And yet all of it appeared within consciousness. Like images appearing on a screen. Like clouds appearing in the sky. Like waves appearing on the surface of the sea. The forms may differ. But the essence remains the same. This is why Maharaj constantly encouraged seekers to stop searching outside themselves. The mind always believes fulfillment exists somewhere else. In another book. Another teacher. Another retreat. Another relationship. Another achievement. Another spiritual experience. But every search is based on a hidden assumption. The assumption that what you seek is absent. Maharaj challenges this assumption directly. What if what you seek is already here? What if it has never been absent? What if the seeker itself is the only obstacle? The moment the search relaxes, something profound becomes visible. A silent presence. A stillness that was always there. A peace that does not depend on circumstances. A completeness that does not depend on achievement. A freedom that does not depend on the future. This is not something to be created. It is something to be recognized. Something already present. Something already complete. Something already whole. As Maharaj often pointed out, truth is not a destination. It is not an achievement. It is not the result of effort. Truth is what remains when illusion falls away. When false identification ends. When the mind stops chasing shadows. When the seeker disappears into the source. Then only reality remains. Simple. Silent. Infinite. Before we end this journey together, pause for a moment. Take a slow breath. And ask yourself. Without my name, who am I? Without my history, who am I? Without my successes and failures, who am I? Without my fears and desires, who am I? Without every label I have ever used to describe myself, who am I? Do not answer intellectually. Simply remain with the question. Remain with the silence that follows. Remain with the sense of being. Remain with the simple fact that you are. Not this. Not that. Simply aware. Simply present. Simply here. This silent presence has been with you since the beginning. It has witnessed every joy, every sorrow, every success, every failure, every beginning, every ending. Yet it itself has never changed. That is what Nisargadatta Maharaj points toward. Not a philosophy. Not a religion. Not a belief. But the direct recognition of your true nature. You were never merely the person. You were never merely the story. You were never merely the seeker. You are the awareness in which the entire story appears. And beyond even awareness, you are the Absolute itself. The timeless reality in which all things arise and disappear. And perhaps that is the greatest freedom of all. If this teaching touched something deep within you, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Awakening Truth 108, and share it with someone who may be searching for the same truth. Until next time, remain with the sense I am. Stay with it gently, patiently, lovingly, and allow it to reveal its own source. Because the journey does not end in finding something new. It ends in discovering what you have always been.